So good morning, everybody, and welcome again into this virtual sanctuary of ours. We're delighted to be here in your company. It's always a joy, and we get very wonderful feedback. And it made me smile when I hear that some of you are all gathering on YouTube before the Sunday morning talk, and you're chatting amongst yourselves. Lovely. That's great. What a good thing. It's good to be in contact with each other. We need that now. As the time wears on, and I say wears on because, the longer we're being very cautious and following, the protocols, the more we wish this thing would come to an end. But you know what? It's going to end when it's going to end. And in the meantime, you and I will be in every new gift of a day and make the very, very most of it, with high spirits and a high consciousness, because that's the way we're going to clear this thing out of the way for once and for all. And so we'll have more of that as we go into this morning together with each other. But right here and right now, we are doing the best thing that we know how to do, and the most wonderful healing thing that we could do. And that is to center ourselves in the awareness of something greater than ourselves and greater than all of these conditions, and to know that every single person, place, and thing that's out of order must bow to this power and to this presence and to this higher consciousness. Absolutely, for it is the all-powerful, the omnipotent, all-powerful, omniscient, all-knowing, omnipresent, everywhere present, one, the one life, the one power, the one infinite being, not way out there, up there, over there, or somewhere else, but right where you are and right where I am and right where the floor is and right where the ceiling is and right where the chairs are, where everything is, that power and that infinite intelligence is within it, and that's what you and I are going to get in touch with right here and right now. So I invite us all to center ourselves the quickest way we know how, and that is to consciously connect. I can feel it already in my hand, with the breath of our lives. And if you want to know where spirit is, breathe into your hand. There it is. If you want to know where spirit is, just do that and you'll feel the breath in your hand. It's awesome. It's wondrous. It's amazing. And so are you when you are in touch with it. So let's do that now. Let's take a conscious, connected breath. The breath of life itself, the pranayama. That wonderful power, that wonderful energy, creative energy, infinite energy, that lives and moves and has its being in every living thing, and everything lives. That which is visible and invisible, the power and the presence and the life of spirit is within all. And right now I'm breathing it in, and I'm breathing it out. And I'm knowing right now that the spiritual body, that this body is within, is that power, that light, that life, and that love. And I am going to breathe it in now. And as I breathe it through my nostrils, or breathe it through my mouth, or both, I'm seeing that power and that energy flow right into my throat, up my nose, filling my head, and moving throughout my entire body with its beauty and its grace and its wholeness and its healing power and its response to the invitation I extend to it to mend, to fix, and to heal anything that might seem to require it. Because ask, and you will be answered. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be opened unto you, the good that you desire. Spirit always comes through invitation only. That is, Spirit only responds to us through invitation only. Its presence is always with us, its power is always available to us, but we must be open and receptive to all that amazing grace working in harmony and unison in my life to produce the good that I know is here for me and I'm supposed to have. Because that's the divine design for my life and all that I am. That I should have life and have that life abundantly. That my joy should be complete. And that I might know the peace that passes understanding. And I'm saying yes to all of that now. Yes, to my rightful beingness. Yes, to the acceptance of my inheritance and legacy. Yes, to my birthright. Yes, to the power, to the presence of the life that lives me and moves through me and endows me with vim and vigor and zest and energy and wholeness and fullness and wellness of being. And so I just breathe in that wellness. I breathe in that fullness. I breathe in that wholeness of being. I breathe it in and I breathe it out. And as I breathe in this light, this infinite, intelligent, healing, restorative light, I also breathe it out as a blessing upon all creation, throughout all creation, that all may be blessed with fullness and plenty and wholeness and wellness and lifefulness and harmony and peace and unity and the understanding that God, the infinite being itself, is all there is. There is only life. There is only light. There is only love. And all the attributes that are attributed to the divinity, to the divine aspect of being, are all available to me right here and right now. So I see that amazing grace filling my mind and bringing this mind to equilibrium, to balance. For it is the mind of the one that I use because of there being only one mind. And I use it in my unique way. And my deep desire and attention is to use it along the line of thought that is good and only good, that is uplifting, expanding, growth-oriented. The beautiful mind that was in the Christed Jesus, in the Buddha, and in all those who have been awake enough to discover the truth that sets free. So I allow that mind to come to that beauty and grace, that stillness, that quiet, and that amazing energetic that intelligence is. And I allow that same amazing grace to fill up the heart of me, the feeling nature of me. As I recollect that I am the feeling nature of the divine, as I have been created, I am the feeling nature of the divine, and I intend to feel according to that awareness. So I see that amazing grace bringing emotional energy to balance, to calm, to peace, to poise. I see the same amazing grace filling every nook and cranny of this body temple, this body given to me on this plane as companion. This beautiful body that takes care of me. This amazing body that is an absolute universe in its own right of infinite intelligence, knows exactly how to be in order to keep everything working par excellence, provided I don't get in the way of it with erroneous thinking and erroneous feeling and erroneous living. This body is the perfect action of the divine. And then the soul. Bless my soul. As it fills with that light, glows with that light of truth. And I am knowing that if there's any at all impediment in my mind, in my body, in my heart, that causes the soul its inability to fully soar, it is diminished right here and diminished right now. There is no error where spirit is, and I am in spirit, and spirit is in me. Therefore, consequently, there is no error in me, but thinking makes it so. So I breathe the breath of the breath that breathes me. I allow myself to become its energetic, formless, faceless light of being, just flowing with cosmic flow, part of it all. That point of light that pulsates in a cosmic sea of light amidst all the other pulsating points of light. And right now, I see all those points of light showering Mother Earth with that amazing grace. Showering Mother Earth with that peace that passes understanding, that joy that is full and embodied, and that fullness and plenty that the planet was created to enjoy, and everything upon it and in it and above it and below it and around it and about it. There it is, this beautiful spinning orb of scintillating light in the cosmos. And I am one with it. And I flow in and through every part of it in my essence. And all of it flows through me. Awesome. So I bless the beautiful planet and all therein pertaining to it. And I call it good and very good, as it was named in the beginning. I bless the mind that is to my use. I bless the heart that is the feeling nature of spirit. I bless the body temple that is the agent for my mobility on this plane. I bless the soul. May it always rise. What I know for my individualized expression of spirit, I know for every aspect of spirit too in creation. For everything of spirit that is visible and invisible, I know the very same good that I know for this individualized expression. I have extended the invitation, and I know the invitation has been responded to, that I may be what I am in truth and what I am in creation to be. The pulse of the pulse, the breath of the breath, the beat and the beat of the heart of the originator of it all. So I am knowing that blessing is my way. Light is my guidance. Life is what I am. And love is always that which moves me in every wonderful, beautiful, good way. So I release this that I know and have stated as truth. I release it to echo throughout all of the cosmos and beyond, to sing the praises of the One, to honor the One, in gratitude to the One, as I in faith say, and so it is. Amen. And so it is. And so indeed it is, my dear ones. And you know, the more we get into this frame of reference, and the more we can stay consciously present to Source, and that can happen throughout the day. It doesn't matter what we're doing, as long as we remember, oh yes, I'm not alone. There is a power, there is a presence, there is an infinite being that accompanies me, is everywhere present, and I can draw from its life force at any time. I can draw from its wisdom at any time, and so on. Now, what better thing could you or I know? I can't think of anything. Now, this morning, as I was doing my spiritual reading, I like the first hours of my day always to be focused on something greater than myself. And those moments of sort of twilight sleep, first thing in the morning and last thing at night, are the most potent and powerful moments there are in anyone's day. That's where the mind is not in the way. It's not busy distracting. You can set intention then, very clear intention, with regard to how your day may be. Same thing at night, just in that beautiful state of poise. You can set the intention for the night and its beauty and its grace and its recovery and renewal and rejuvenation, and be open to its inspiration as well. And that way, from morning till night, you've set an intention to be your best self. Now, in the reading this morning that I was doing, this was the first book that came to my hand. And I say came to my hand because in a neat pile along one side of my bed, there's a little row of notebooks and books. So if I wake up in the night or whatever, I just put my hand on a book and read it and back to sleep again, whatever. Also, the notebooks are very important to me because it's the witching hour, the third hour, 3 o'clock in the morning, anywhere between 3 and 4. Wake up with these great ideas. If I don't write them down, I'm not going to remember them because every time I said I would, I didn't. So I like to do that too. But this was the book that came to mind. It's a book by Neville, and it's called The Power of Awareness. It's an old book. Neville was one of the, initial practitioners, initial metaphysicians who helped launch this thing called New Thought. He was operating around the same time as Ernest Holmes and all the crew at that time. But I love his work, and every time I read his work, I get something new and different from it. And as you might know if you've done any studying in metaphysics, and especially in New Thought metaphysics, by the way, New Thought is just ancient wisdom made new. That's all. And so you'll notice they're all very they're into biblical studies, but not at face value. They're interested in the metaphysics of the Bible, which is awesomely stunning. It really is exciting. So anyway, I opened up this book, and I brought the book because I don't want to give you anything except pure Neville this morning. I could state it to you in my own words. I don't want to do that. And I opened the piece on acceptance. Small little chapters they are. I mean, there's 3 and 4 pages in each chapter. And this is gold dust as far as I'm concerned. And in this he says, and I'm not going to read the whole chapter, but I'll read essential bits. He says, whenever you become completely absorbed in an emotional state, you are at that moment assuming the feeling of the state fulfilled. If persisted in, whatsoever you are intensely emotional about, you will experience in your world. Now he's talking about you have a desire, you desire something good. That's the first thing. Then he says you have to assume the feeling of that thing, how you'd feel, how you'd think, how you'd be if that was already in place. And if you can do that, he says, that will absolutely appear in your experience. And he says, these periods of absorption, of concentrated attention, are the beginning of the things that you harvest. This is how you sow the seeds for harvest. You have a clear intention, a clear desire, a clear good in mind, seeds. Then you drop those seeds into deeper consciousness, the consciousness of the inner mind, the heart. And then when you assume the feeling of those growing and coming to fruition and start feeling like you've already reaped the harvest, the action moves in to create every circumstance that is necessary, no matter how impossible it might seem, for that to happen. And it happens. And then he says, you have seen something in imagination with such vividness that you now wonder whether the evidence of your senses can now be believed. It was so real to you, you don't know whether it was something you dreamed or something that's really happening, kind of thing. And it's like Keats, when Keats is caught up in this beautiful energy too, and he says, I went to the hazel wood as though fire was in my brain, as though I had drank some dull opiate and emptied it to the drain. Now, people might think that that was another experience he was having, but remember, there are all kinds of ways to interpret things. So that something is so real and so visceral and so intense that there's no denying it. And you've often woken up from dreams like that, good and bad. You've often awakened, I'm sure, in a sweat because it wasn't such a great, good dream. And your first thing is, oh, thank God that I am awake. And then at another time, you'd wake up and it was so vivid and so real to you, think, oh, but it was a dream. See? Imagination, the power of imagination, the power of imagination, and that's what Einstein said was the greatest power of all, imagination. What's going on in your imagination right now? Because whatever it is muy importante, very important at this time especially. That whatever that is, you're imagining good things. Along the line of good things. Our spiritual mind treatment, which is our declarative prayer, our declaration of prayer, is the pondering of an idea along a specific line of thinking in order to produce a specific result. This is what we do in prayer. We go to the harvest. And we assume the feeling of the harvest already brought in. And if we can keep that intense focus and feeling around it, and we can think it and we can feel it and we can believe it and we can just keep supporting it in that way, it is going to materialize and realize in our lives. No ifs and buts and doubts about it, but do not take my word for it, or anybody's. Test it out. But do a proper test. You see, we talk about the science of mind and spirit. Scientific method. That's what our prayer is. That means it has its own ideology, it has its own methodology, and it has its own proofs. And once you enter into the right formula, you prove it every single time that it works. But you have to support that with all your heart and all your soul and all your power and all your mind. You can't just try it for a day or two and say, see, I tried it and it doesn't work. Oh, it worked all right along the lines of your thinking, which was, it doesn't work. The formula will always work, but you have to work the formula. You can't sit down and work out a math problem without the correct formula. And math can be so difficult until you learn the right formula, and then it's a piece of cake. Stick-to-itiveness. Anyway, he goes on to say, the one who at will can assume whatever state he pleases has found the keys to the kingdom of heaven. And listen for it. Here are the keys to the kingdom of heaven. The keys are desire, imagination, and a steadily focused attention on the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Desire, strong attention, and a steady concentration on assuming the feeling of the desire fulfilled. This is worth bazillions to know that. This is spiritual gold to know that. But knowing is not power at all. Embodying what you know is power. Working what you know is power. Otherwise, it's just something I know. It's the thought in my head. Nothing comes from nothing. Nothing. There has to be a reaction to an action. There has to be a response to what you know. Then he goes on to say, the windows of heaven may not open, and the treasures seized by a strong will. Your willing won't do it. You can't will it. Willpower is not going to do it. You can't force it. But they open of themselves and present their treasures as a free gift, a gift that comes when absorption reaches such a degree that it results in a feeling of complete acceptance. So what we're talking about here is desire, imagination, absorption, and acceptance. Now, this sounds wonderful, and you say to yourself at times, I can't wait to get into this, can't wait to do this, can't wait to try this out. And you go pell-mell into it. And as I say, because it doesn't happen instantaneously, you lose energy around it. You say, well, I tried it. God knows I tried it. It just didn't work for me. And I'm saying, yes, it did. Because your real thought was, it doesn't work for me. That's your strongest feeling, and your strongest feeling will always, always come to fruition. So Ernest Holmes says, if you're wondering about when you're going to get the result of your declaration, of your prayerful awareness of the good that you want, it's only going to happen when your faith in it being there for you, in your faith in it being the good that you're supposed to have, is stronger than your belief in not having it. So when your faith in the good that you desire is stronger than your feeling of lack of not having it, that's when really the thing gets going and the harvest starts blossoming and you can get to reap it. It's awesome. It sounds very simple, and it is simply sounding. It is not easy. Simple doesn't equal easy. Why is it not easy? It's not easy because our minds are used to going to the negative. Water finds its own level, and it seems that for most of us on this planet, our level is on the negative side rather than on the affirmative side. And remember, only 51% is all it takes. 51% is the majority. 51% is on the right side of life. 51%. So instead of you and I could go on. I'm tempted to go on, but I won't. The book is great. Maybe I'll do some more with you next week. But instead of you and I, ruminating and worrying about, the world being in a state of chaos and this and that and the other at the moment, if we could take our minds, as the teaching says, as metaphysics says, as the good Dr. Ernest Holmes says, take your mind, and all the other metaphysicians, he wasn't the only one that said it, take your mind off your problem, put your mind on good. Stop focus on what you don't want and start focusing on what you do want. And this is going to be a process because we're used to anxiety, we're used to worry, we're used to fear. It's second nature to us to worry, to have anxiety, and to be afraid. We learned it at a very early age from the adults all around us. We were impressed with that at a very early age, so it's going to take a little bit of digging to get that released from our memory in solar plexus here. But dig we must if we want to live the kind of life that we are, born to. None of that can happen as long as you and I, in any way, in the slightest way, think in terms of victimhood. Or think in terms of, why me? Why me? Why does this always happen to me? Why does this always happen to me? I think what we need to say is, why not me experience my good? Why not me? Why shouldn't I? Why not me? We have to turn that thinking around. You have to erase all the negativity and replace it with affirmation. But it can't be just a magic formula that you think, oh, well, if I just keep prattling off this, it'll work. No, it won't. Why? Because you have to have a clear idea of the good that you desire. You have to imagine it in your mind. Imagine it in your mind. See yourself in it, whatever that is. I see myself in the perfect job, the perfect employment. I'm so happy in it. I get on with everybody. Everybody helps everybody and appreciates everybody. I see myself shaking hands and being congratulated for my great contribution and blah, 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 whatever way you want your life to be. It could be the same for the perfect mate that you would like to have, the perfect health that you would like to have, the perfect prosperity that you would like to have. You have to get in it and vision it. In other words, you have to make a movie of it in your mind. Make a movie of it in your mind. But you have to keep supporting that. And like any movie, you'll adjust, you'll change, and whatever, you'll edit and so forth. And if you're willing to do it, you're willing to commit to it, you're willing to put your back and your shoulder to it, then great good things are about to happen. Your good is here for you now. And yes, you are supposed to have it. Now the question is, can you believe that? Can you? Because remember, Napoleon Hill made it famous. He wasn't the only one who said it, but he made it famous. What the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. Now, some of us have a good deal of uprooting to do. Believe it or not, some of us as small children were told we'd never amount to much. We were no goods. Life was hard. You have to work very hard in life to get anywhere, if you're lucky. There's still a lot of that energy left in us if we have not already taken care of it. If we have not erased that and replaced that. So don't be surprised if you cannot do this overnight. But let that not be a deterrent. All good roads start with the first step. The good journeys start with the first step. Baby steps sometimes too. As long as you keep going in the same direction, you may pause along the way, but get up and keep going in the same direction. Get some help from friends. I know we're all in seclusion now and so on and so forth, but there are phones, there's FaceTime, there's, communal chats and so on and so forth. We'll have to take what we have and use what we have. That's all we're ever asked to do. Take the crumbs of today, if they're crumbs, and look at your crumbs and hold them in your hands and bless those crumbs. Bless them like they were a huge loaf. Bless them, and you'll be amazed at how they will expand and grow into moreness. So every single day we take the good that we have first thing, we bless it, and we have the willingness to share from it, no matter how small it is. And then we go about our day knowing that all our needs will be met, and they will be. Because that's how the law of life works. That is how the law of mind works. And it is a law, and you can prove it. But each one of us has to do it for ourselves. Nobody else can do it for us. And we need to stop wishing somebody would pick us up and carry us like we used to when we were little children. We can carry ourselves. We're well capable of that. We can carry ourselves. We're made to. We're made to. So, my dear ones, I just bless you all, and I'm knowing for you, I'm always knowing for you your highest and your most wonderful unfolding good. I have a strong belief in every single one, that every single one is capable of great good things. Great good things. Why not? Why, instead of spending all of our energy on worries and concerns, spend our energy on the world as we perceive it and wish it to be, on the world that it was intended to be, that world of serenity? Why not spend time in our prayer moments seeing all those wonderful scientists coming up with answers that are needed right now to take care of what's going on right now? Let's see them all succeeding and achieving. Let's see everybody working together all over the world, the scientists together all over the world, not their own separate units, but all working together. See it the way you want it to be. See the world exactly as you want it to be. See again people in safety out in the parks and doing the normal and everyday things that we always did. And that's not going to happen by all of us rushing out and making it happen anyway. Remember, by will, just because we have the will for it doesn't mean it's going to happen. It's not going to happen like that. First see it, first vision it, first feel it, first accept it, and then keep doing that. And then soon, my dear ones, we will see that great good has come out of our situation right now. Great good indeed. Great, great good. And in the meantime, we salute and we support all of those who are in the zone, ground zero, on the front lines, doing exactly what I'm talking about, visioning it and seeing it and working toward it. Let's support them by knowing something greater than circumstances, situations, and conditions. Let's know that the power that is greater than everything, the power for good in the universe greater than we are, is at work in this. And if we are open and receptive to its divine wisdom and its grace, we will be saying, like the two disciples on the road to Emmaus after they had met the risen Jesus, haven't we seen wonderful things in Jerusalem today? Did our hearts not burn within us? Why not? That just is not a story about 2,000 years ago. These are stories that are happening today too. They happen every day. And so, my dear ones, I wish you well. I wish you peace. I wish you love. I wish you wonderful and beautiful self-companionship. I wish you that beautiful, deeper sense of yourself, that lovely awareness of your own beauty and your own grace and your own power, and how amazing you are, and how great, great good things happen through you when you know great good things happen through you. So be amazed at yourself in a beautiful way, in a humble way. You know, the metaphysicians that were mystics, they never bragged, they never boasted. They were poised. And that beautiful grace of humility kept them poised. Remember, humility is the strongest virtue there is. It's what centers us and keeps us even, level, and doesn't allow us to move off center by anything that comes at us from the outside. Get to know your inner self. This is a chance you won't have again. But this is the opportunity. For out of great extremity comes God's opportunity in and through and by means of you. So now, my dear ones, we will conclude the way we always do. We celebrate our fullness and our plenty. And so I'm taking my gift and I'm going to bless it along with you. And I know that this is me taking my handful of good every day and blessing it, knowing it's enough, and enough is always plenty, and from it I can share. And that's a lovely thing. So, divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in the sharing of my good, and I release my gift with love. And so it is. Again, I thank you so much for tuning in today and staying connected, because connection has never been more important than it is now. Please do join us for tea and chat on Monday. It's an hour, and it's a lovely time. And join us in class. My goodness, that's one way we all grow very wondrously. And join in the prayer circles on Tuesday and on Thursday night. And tune into all the information that's available online and on YouTube, because that's how we can stay together in a very real way. And thank you for all your wonderful support. I mean, really, we couldn't be here, keep the lights on, far less produce our programs and so on, without, of course, your financial support. But thank you for all your support, all your good deeds, your good thoughts, your good feelings throughout the day and throughout the week. So appreciate that. That's what keeps it all going, keeps it all afloat. So just always know you are that point of light, that you are that light through which the infinite expresses itself in all of its incredible, amazing abundance and fullness and plenty and magnificence. That's what you are in truth. It's what you were, you'll always be, and nothing less than that. So again, I say, amaze yourselves, for you are indeed amazing grace. And so it is. Until next time, my dear ones, lift up your hearts, lift up your spirits, and lift up your minds. For God is in God's holy dwelling place, the midst of us all. And all, because of that, is well in spite of appearances. So enjoy the rest of this blessed day. Thank you.